welding industry, past, present, and the future. So this is just from my personal perspective on what I have seen. When I entered into the welding field when I was in prison, after I got certified, because I got certified in prison and I was able to work in there. And then once I was released, I was able to actually physically put my hands on welding and on exercising my skills. So since 2006, since I was released up to now, has been 15 years. So since I've been touching the field of welding, a lot has changed since I first started. Literally, like the pay. When I first entered in the town I was in the small town I was in, I started out at $8 an hour. That was my first pay of welding. And when I exited welding, um, extremely working for others, like as a foreman, I was making $30 an hour, and I was in Phoenix, and I was managing anywhere from myself to 5, 10 people, depends on what the job required. You know what I mean? So things have changed a lot. The pay has changed a lot. Now they starting out, certain jobs are starting out the same thing at $12 and $14. You know what I mean? So the pay has changed, and the pay is constantly going to go up because it's a need in certain specific fields. So if you're a welder and you get into certain fabrication or just welding only, like certain alloys, when it comes to TIG welding, that's a great need in certain fields that you can be able to make some good money on. And it now, it still depends on where you at too, because you won't have to travel. I have learned that you have to travel where there is a more of a need. But if you go, sometimes if it's a real big place, um, the numbers they end up being different, because I was in Phoenix and I seen some good numbers and I seen some okay numbers, you know what I mean? So, I seen the pay still starting out around, starting out in the field anyway. I seen some starting out in the field in the shop around 17 to $20 was like an average out there, you know what I mean? And then if you real skilled, you getting anywhere from 22 to 25, and then if you supervisor, you can get anywhere from that to $30, 25 to $30. So the pay has changed so much from when I first entered. But now I think that it's even better for the beginners getting into it, because now you can really look back and see what you want and kind of pick out the need, before you like find out. If you're thinking about welding, you can even go around to some of the welding shops in your local community and just ask what they pay, or see if you can get an application, or see what they start off with. Like, it's different ways to kind of get an idea before you jump into it. Like I say, me personally, I think it would be smart as a beginner, if you think about jumping into welding, to actually Google the area within a 30 miles hour radius or whatever, of seeing what type of welding jobs, where can you go to check them out, seeing what they start in, what they want, what they look for in their people, if you're trying to get into it, to give you a more of a perspective of what you're getting into, you know. And then presently, like I say, the money is better now, and now, there's a need. There's a need of over, I believe, 2 to 300,000 welders. Um, Quoted from AWS, they were saying how coming into the year, like, this is 2021, and it was like by 2026 is going to be a bigger need. So I think the demand for welding is always going to go up, because welding can tie to so many things. You got AC that need welding. Um, you got mechanical that need welding. You got plumbing that need welding. You got structural that need welding. You got ornamental that needs welding. You got repairs that need welding. You got trucks. You got flatbeds. You got trailers. You got gates. You got repair. You know what I mean? It's so much things that evolves welding, that I think that welding itself will never go nowhere. I think that you'll always have a income, always be able to make money when it comes to welding, fabrication, installing, because all of those things go together. And then if you learn some equipments and other different things to tie into your welding, it's just going to make you a bigger asset. So coming into the future is going to be a more of a demand. So I think now if you take advantage of it, and if that's something that you're looking into, take advantage of it now. Like really do some homework, really Google the area. I mean, we got our phones now. You just don't know how valuable that is. Like, um, I remember a movie I watched back in the day called Matrix. For those who, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it's a great movie, and it was showing how they was downloading information to learn how to fly a plane or to drive certain bike or to drive this or to do something. You know what I mean? And I think literally now we can actually download this type of information in us. We just have to sit there and watch these videos or read these books. You know what I mean? That literally you can listen to a book now online. For those who don't like reading, or you can watch a video and you can watch it a few times to download the information to give you a good start. I remember hearing one gentleman, and it was a white gentleman that was in California, talk about how he put out to do a job by watching this video and needed to make some money. He was tight, so he learned how to do it over the video, which didn't give him a whole lot, but he had enough to get hired. He got fired within, a week or two, you know what I mean? But he stayed long enough to make a check, and he learned some things, and then he did it again. He learned literally off using YouTube, using those videos, learning the language, and then he ended up eventually getting successful in the field. So I'm not saying wing it like that, but if you do some research, if you really figure out what direction you want to go in welding, there's no limitation, like literally. So, like I say, I started off at 8, and that was a humble beginning. And even if I wasn't in that small town, I would have made more than that. And that was just a start. But I got to be honest and tell you that this is where I started from. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to share that with you today and just say, hey, be realistic with where you're going, where you want to go. And welding is most definitely going places. I don't see it going nowhere no time soon. Like even with the spacecraft and the development of going to Mars, welding is a part of everything. So if you want to get into the field, I think that it's very wise just to figure out what direction you want to go. So, there's many different directions you can go. So keep your options open, keep getting your hog on, stay blessed. Y'all keep on the grind today. I just wanted to check in and just say welding is most definitely something that you should do some research on, learn the history and the present and the future of where it's going, because I really believe it's going places that it's going to open great doors for all of us. So stay focused, stay on your grind. Salute. Hog on.